Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video I'm going to look at this. This is The Pit and the Pendulum from 1961. This is the second film in the Arrow Video Gothic Tales box set, Vincent Price. And what a film this is! But they're all good so far. We enjoyed the the Fall of the House of Usher last week, and well, now we're on to this, and it's a great title already, The Pit and the Pendulum. Now it runs for 85 minutes. It's not very long. It's 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, so they obviously yes, the critics have really generally liked this. But again, as an independent filmmaker, director, producer, there sometimes still is this, I don't know, particularly at the time, they sort of kind of looked down. I think now he's got a very established reputation and he's recognised as a real quite legendary figure in the film industry. Yes, he certainly is. Now, this is a screenplay again by Richard Matheson, and it's based on Edgar Allan Poe's short story from 1842. It is actually a very short story, and what Richard Matheson had to do really was create two other big acts in the film to get to the third act, which effectively was the short story. And this he skillfully does. He brings it all together. Otherwise, if you just have filmed the short story, it wouldn't have been a very long film. Wouldn't at all. But this is the skill and the brilliance of this. It's just absolutely fantastic. The film, was shot in 15 days. 15 days. Isn't that fantastic? There was a little bit of location work involved, but it's also they mix previous shots as well that they've made, and it all fits in. Particularly the opening scene is great as you're moving towards the castle and you see the sea there and all that. That's wonderful. And the sets, of course, were expanded, but using the same kind of sets again, because they had to do. They're on a low budget, extremely low budget. But for this kind of film, the budget was expanded. If you remember, his deal was that he would, instead of doing these two films, which they often wanted to do, he would do a colour one and spend a bit more money on it. And that's what they did. And they made a lot of money as well. That's it got more and more successful. So, it's produced and directed once again by Roger Corman. It's his films. He's a legend. He really is. He's such an influential figure now and recognised as that in terms of horror films. And I think he directed about 55 films and well over 300 films he's produced. And what a collection of films. The cast: Vincent Price, say no more. Vincent Price does all these Poe films with Corman, and it is fantastic. Vincent Price is just amazing. He plays two roles effectively. He plays Nicholas, and then he plays in the flashbacks the Sebastian, his father, who is it's interesting again the class that Vincent Price brings to these roles. He's like a classical, almost Shakespearean actor, but he's an American bloke, and he's fantastic. He would fit in with the British traditional actors. He just has that authority. I mean, he's in his 50s when he's doing these as well. He's just an amazing lead character. You know, I mean, normally leads perhaps would have this age to them, but he fits perfectly into this horror set of films, and also he carries on. He's all the career he carves out in these horror films that he produces. Wonderful. The other actress that stands out, of course, that we always have to have a lead actress, is Barbara Steele. She plays Elizabeth. Wow, she's stunning. She's beautiful. She she's just amazing. Just to see her. You could argue her role is often not very big because we see more fleeting glimpses of her until right at the end. And it's very important in the film. She was important in Italian horror films, as this film is an influence. She was in Mario Bava's Black Sunday from 1960, which is a very influential Italian film, and she's absolutely stunning in that. It's a great film, full of atmosphere. Wow, it's an amazing film. She was also in another Italian film, The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock from 1962. She was in The She-Beast, 1966. Now, you're saying, The She-Beast, never heard of that. This is an important film because it was the 3 films that Michael Reeves made. And Michael Reeves made the legendary, his last film before he died. He was sad that he died so young, The Witchfinder General, which in many ways was the crowning performance by Vincent Price throughout his career. He's often seen as many great performances. It's a great film that I love, The Witchfinder General. But yeah, so as a director, this was his first film, and Barbara Steele was in that. Fantastic film. She was also in sort of cult classic film, Caged Heat from 1974, those prison exploitation films. She's in that. Also, she was in A Silent Scream from 1979, which is a slasher film. Yes. Wow. She's in all sorts of other bits and pieces she's in, and TV work, and what a figure she is. Fantastic. Then we've got Luna Anders playing Catherine. She's got an interesting filmography. She was in Easy Rider, which I love, 1969. She was in The Last Detail, 1973, and Going South, 1978. And all these have one thing in common. It is the man, the legend, Jack Nicholson is in those films. Yes. Easy Rider was his debut. It was a very small role in Easy Rider, but brilliant role as well. Loved him in that. Then we've got Anthony Carbone as Dr. Leon. He was in another Corman film. I think he was chosen in many ways from that, which was Creature from the Haunted Sea of 1961, the same year. So Corman picked him into this film. Absolutely amazing. I forgot John Kerr, who is also a very important part of this film. He plays Francis Bernard. Francis Bernard. He's the brother of Elizabeth, who comes to find out what exactly is going on. He was famous for South Pacific, the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. Yeah, the Rodgers and Hammerstein South Pacific from 1958. There you are. Oh, right. So what's the film about? Well, it's set in the 16th century Spain. You can tell in many ways the costumes they've got brilliant of that period. You can see it's 16th century straight away, and there's wonderful designs in the sets in that. So this young Englishman, Francis, he visits the castle because he wants to find out a bit more about why his sister has died, and he's kind of investigating it. And of course, he meets Vincent Price's character, Nicholas, and also he meets Luann Anders, who's Vincent Price's sister, Catherine, and the Doctor, of course, Dr. Leon, Anthony Carbon, who plays that part. They all meet, and the story unfolds from that. And it's done so well and wonderful as usual by Corman. He uses so many great techniques. The flashback, dreamlike sequences we get again. We get this massive sort of sense of space as well sometimes on the sets, and it's the widescreen lenses that is used on this gives it a lot of width, definitely a lot of width, and you feel that. And they've done a great job on adding to the sets, designing on. You get these wonderful matte paintings that are all put in. All this is done on a very on 15 days to film. It was well organised, obviously, by Corman, and he just excels in this, and the cast do. And Vincent Price again. I love the way, the nuance of Vincent Price. He plays Nicholas, but then when he's playing Sebastian, his father, you get that sort of switch, that evil switch. Amazing performances again by Vincent Price. He's so commanding. The camera loves him. I genuinely, a good director, and the camera just does it. How can you not love Vincent Price? And as I say, this film, its influence on other directors is amazing because of the stories and techniques. You know, say I mentioned about the use of colour, the lighting, the way it's organised. Just generally, even Stephen King has talked about this film as well, and it influences. It's just such a great film, and what amazes me is the budget. As I say, it was a relatively small budget, and of course, the first film had made money, and this film made even more money. It just absolutely. So inevitably, we're going to get more. And of course, other people would have been watching this and thinking, wow, what can be done on a more sort of, low budget things. And Corman also mentions that, in fact, he hadn't seen a lot of the Italian cinema. He hadn't seen Hammer, who were doing similar things at the same time, and they were a big influence as well. I love it how it's all going on at this time. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And that's why this box set is an absolute treat. It really is. I fully recommend it. If you're into horror films and you want to know about origins of how people and directors were influenced, these are the films you should be looking at. Roger Corman, I say recognition, he is now recognised so much as a producer, as I said. But yeah, this is just amazing. There was actually a TV version with an extra 5 minutes added footage in America put on this film. That's where we are. I think that's it, really. But as I say, Italian cinema as well, they really acknowledge all these people, Italian directors, watching this film. Wow, they realised a lot of things and did it themselves. So, just a quick look. Here's the box set. Fantastic box set. Highly recommended. It's still on the Arrow video sale. Well worth getting 6 films. And that's it. So, if you're new to the channel, Please subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed, well, please subscribe, because then we let you know when I produce these videos. And also, if you like this one, please like it, because it helps in algorithms and all that kind of thing, which is great. Because hopefully other people might enjoy it. And if you've got any comments, please put those comments down. I just love reading your comments. It's a real joy. It really is, to just read what you think about these things. Maybe not, but I think it is. I love it. Honestly, I really do. And it all costs notes. I always say that. And so you can't say fairer than that nowadays. Buy it, you can't. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.